Sorry.
Okay,
sorry.
medic.
I am here.
I want
I
you
hear
to
you.
stay red. Netrix, can you ready up?
Yep.
Alright. Everyone join red team that's alive. And do your normal rollout. That's in the server.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Do your rollouts.
Ui.
Alright, that's
Arm.
fine. Yeah, so basically yes, right? Oh. MP turn. Alright, there we go. So everyone can go back. Yeah, so I just want to see if you guys are idiots. Your spy can do that, so that's fine. Main thing is, right, on rollout, everyone goes this door. Doesn't matter where you go. If you're sniper, exception might be spy, but I would say everyone else at the beginning should go through this door. Very simple reason. Your medic gets the sideline with the arrow on the demo, and your buff stays central. If anyone goes left side, they're not getting buffed, right? So your heavy, your soldier, right, usually wants to roll out top right, or top left, whatever, but he wants to whip, right? Until this, and this point is when you buff the soldier, so you can either go left, right, and jump, right? So you need to make sure, Paul, for you, very important, your soldier's 300 HP when he reaches this area, right here. Okay? That's like one of the most important things for you. Obviously, heal the scout and spawn and shit, so you get ahead of the pack, all that bullshit, but make sure the soldier gets heals here. The heavy needs to get beamed before he leaves shutter. Okay?
Yep.
So he gets crit heals and doesn't get shot at. Okay? That's the two things I want to point out for the rollout. Just because I see a lot of medics and low disk not do that. Okay? Now rollout, I mean I've played with you guys on mid. You play mid just fine. The main thing is when you get picked, you need to like just push together. A good way to group that up, right? If you already have picks, you don't go and bomb in, right? You sit there, you keep your HP high until you're re-healed, and then you push, right? Now, what is a good timing for that? You know the announcer, right? Everyone has the announcer enabled, I hope, because they have to.
Yeah.
Like the in-game announcer.
Yeah.
What is a nice way to group up when you're gonna push? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the points can now be captured, right? The in-game fucking voice announcer says that shit. So if you get the picks before that happens, you can just use the announcer as your timer to get back in. Why is that good? Well, because you instantly get cap time if you push across point at that time, right? So the timing you want to do that push, in the ultimate world, you would get the picks before the announcer, and then you would go on the announcer and cap, right? Makes sense, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Mid fight. Well, I mean, it's. Do I need to? Does anyone have any questions about this before I just go over the general like mid fight? Because I think you guys already kind of did it, right? So one thing that's important on a mid fight is bomb, right? Their soldier will bomb if he's smart, right? So pyro, what are you gonna do initially when you roll out a shutter? You're gonna look at the sky, right? Why are you looking at the sky? Because the sky is the only danger to your demo, right? This is like an initial rollout. The most important thing is that your demo can do work. Your demo can only do work if he's protected. If their soldier insta-bombs your demo, he's dead. So, as a pyro, you keep your fucking flamethrower out and you get ready for that reflex. After that, detonator spam, spy check, watch for bomb still, like that's obvious, right? But before that, you are really, really watching the bomb, okay? And you're reflecting. You're reflecting spam, you're reflecting the bomb, okay? That's your initial mid-fight scenario. Your main kills will come from your sniper demo, soldier, scout, right? Obviously. Because they're gonna do the damage, right? Heavy, you need to like basically swap in with your demo for like a second if he needs to reload, right? If you want someone to do that and you're the best at doing it because you have a lot of heals, so you can take some damage, and you can actually do damage at that range. Like in other maps, Spyro can also do that, right? But on this map, the range you're fighting is constantly mid-range, so it's best for hitscan classes, right? So if you need to choose with some damage pressure rather than some posture pressure, you need to always do the heavy instead of the demo, right? To swap in for the combo class. Like, there's any questions about it? Because you guys were already doing this. I don't need to explain this too much, right? Main issues, right, on mid fights or in general, don't group 4 people in this spot, right? If there's someone already playing here or here or here, you play not exactly the same spot. Why? The biggest danger is their demo and their soldier, right? A lot of the time. Their demo and soldier together are the danger. Both of these players are spam classes, right? So don't play in exactly the same positioning. Like, make sure what we call micro positioning is correct. So if the call is we're playing from the left, or we're going into them, we're playing from the right, whatever, doesn't matter. You don't sit in you don't have 4 people grouped up on a dispenser at the same time, right? This is just a general cough thing, but it's something I saw you guys not really do, right? Okay. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Like, hey, we don't want to have 4 people sit in a position where if a pipe hits, we're all taking 80 damage, right? I'd much rather have one guy take 100 damage because it's easier to heal away, right? Like,
Yeah.
you want them to focus fire individuals. That you don't want them to be able to focus fire you as a group, right? That's why they were losing the other day when I merged soldier, because they were all sitting in as a group. I bomb in once, and then your demo kills everything. Because they're all just stacked up. And he just hits 2 pipes and everyone dies, right? And even if they didn't die, they were now 10 HP for your scout, right? I mean, mid fight, the main thing and the most important thing about a mid fight is that, let's say you don't get paged or whatever, or it's slow, you always go off of a coordinated play. And usually whoever does that play first wins, unless they're bunkering, right? If you see them super passively and they're just bunkering, they're waiting for you to sack, you just start capping, right? If they do that and you just like force them to contest the point and you then put your sniper in a position where he just snipes them if they try to contest, right? Now, if that's not happening, then if they're like trying to contest where they're like not really pushing, you should. The most important thing is that your soldier just bombs at some point, right? Usually over right roof because that's usually where they attack from, but over left roof, it doesn't matter. Your soldier just goes into them from the high ground, lands on high ground, jumps into them, doesn't really matter. Basically just damage on them, and then your demo walks off of that. That's usually how you break a mid fight. Now, preferably you do that with your spy also behind them, right? If your spy's also behind them, then now you have 2 distractions, right? So it's a soldier distracting, a spy distracting. One of them will get a kill, right, at that stage. Now, do you have to wait for the spy to be in position? No, the soldier is the main initiator. But it's kind of what I said the other day. Modern Highlander has 2 initiators. Those are scout. Those are soldier, and those are soldier and spy. Picks just make your decisions easier, right? But initiating a team fight, that's up to them, right? So you should always like they need to be proactive, and your demo, your main color needs to coordinate them being proactive, right? He needs to be making sure people don't feed and whatnot. Yeah. Any questions about mid fights in general? When do you instantly push them? Right? When do you instantly push them? They lose a demo or they lose a sniper. You all take buffs again and you push instantly. Okay. If they lose a medic, you slow the fight down. Okay. Because if they lose a medic, they are gonna sack for your medic if they're smart. So then the goal is just wiping them slowly, right? Picking them off one by one. The important thing when they lose a medic is that you yes, you push quickly, but you also like make sure you stay together and grouped up, and you roll the death ball. You don't take solo isolated fights when they are all alive, right? What you do is you sit on the high ground and you spam the fuck out of them so they can't sack into you, right? Shit like that. Right, the main thing with a medic kill on a mid fight or any point, if you have medic advantage, they will lose their heals the longer you wait, right? Because they're not getting rebuffed. So the longer you wait, the better it is for you, right? They know that, so if they are smart, they're gonna 9-man sack for your medic. So that's the other thing you play against. So you basically play to kill them before they can sack your medic, or you bunker your medic and you start capping and you let them feed into you, right? The preferable way is just kill them, right? You wait like 2 seconds, rebuff, and then you kill all of them. That's the best way to do it, right? Because it kind of does a bit of both. You keep your medic safe initially for the first sack, and if they then try to sack, well, then they're running into your entire buff team, right? Any questions? I think this is kind of standard cough shit. Ashville, the main thing to watch out for, right, on the mid fights is snipers. Okay, the snipers ruin your day. The sniper sniping your medic is the worst thing you can do. Heavy, this is where you come in. So heavy on the mid fight. When do you leave shutter? Right, because you're gonna usually roll out shutter. Is your heavy here?
He's
Oh,
muted.
He's
Oh, he is.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm mute.
I'm here.
Yeah. So
Okay.
when do you usually use shutter? When should on the mid fight? What's important for you to keep time in the keeping track of that? What do you think? Because you usually go shutter, right? I'm just assuming you are. Yeah.
I mostly go shutter, yeah, and I mostly go with the timing of them.
Well,
But
when do you leave
but
shutter? Do you leave as soon as you get there, or do you first sit there, or what do you do?
I usually wait until I hear from the demo that they're maybe going in or
Okay, so the answer is you need to body block the sniper shot for your medic, right? So once you've done, because you much rather on a mid fight you take a headshot than your medic take a headshot, right?
Yeah.
Or a body shot, right? So the answer is you stay in shutter so your medic can get in, right? As soon as that's done, you can do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care, as long as you're not baiting your team, right? But that is the minimum on a mid fight. Your medic and heavy should kind of leave shutter at the same time, because otherwise they might get locked down by your demo. And Paul, this is also probably what you had in your map talk with your mentor. They told you if you stay in shutter with your medic, like the easiest way to lose a mid fight on Ashville is your medic is forced to just sit here and they just get insta stickied off. So if you're a pyro or a heavy, one of your biggest priorities is making sure your medic can get fucked through. Okay? Because your demo will get baited and your scout will get baited. And your heals will not be in. Right? You will just get picked off. If you don't do that. Like your medic needs to get in. Right? Your medic being forced to stay shutter is the worst thing you can do. You cannot allow that. Right? Doesn't matter what it is. If there's a sniper watching, whatever, you deal with it accordingly. You make sure your medic still gets in. And even if you have to take a risk. Okay? Even if that means crossing a sniper side lane, you just make sure when you cross that sniper side line that someone can then body block your damage for the medic, right? So that's just a small trick for a mid fight. Paul, yeah.
I kind of don't understand what you meant by blocking the bullet. Like,
Yeah. But this is for everyone to know, like, you are gonna lose mid if your medic is stuck behind shutter and they realize that's happening. Because they can then just push your demo's caught out without heals, and he's dead. Right? That's how simple it is. You don't not allow that to happen. Okay? Never, ever.
so
Whatever you have to do to shake that up, you do it. Right? Even
So
if
you-
that means calling a bomb or whatever. Yeah.
So you just meant
Yeah.
you were supposed to go in front of me, like I
Yeah.
can't leave without hitting you.
Yeah, and you use the players you see in front of you as well, right? If you're crossing
I mean,
out,
of
you
course.
just make sure there's someone in between. But yeah, like they should be like knowing that you're trying to do that. Okay.
Yep.
Now this is all good at mid fight. I mean, you guys know how to play mid fight. Let's talk about the action
let's
stuff.
just. How would the default mid fight for the soldier look like? Like, does he just wait more passive for the demo's call to bomb, or does he actually like?
It depends. No, it depends. That you can do a lot. Right? Soldier has a lot of freedom on mid fight because one thing you can do is you can do a super early bomb. Right? You can just fucking jump their medic straight away. Don't do that. I think it's cringe. I think it's, unless their medic shit is not gonna work usually. Your soldier would have to be really good at rocket jumping for that to work. I think that's for you guys not the best result. Now, there's a couple things you can do. You can usually just like what you see a lot of soldiers do is they just come bats and then they jump behind them into here, right? So they whip jump, right? While still having whip, they do a single rocket jump over the roof, and then they go into the lobby, right? And then they fight the people here. That's something you sometimes do. Now that works if their team is rolling out bats and shutter, right? If their team is stupid, they roll out bats. If they do that, you can abuse that, right? Because you're basically getting space behind. You're denying their health kit in lobby, which is kind of a big deal. And you're now in this. This is very good positioning because you can do like double rocket jumps quite easily into their lower left or onto their bats. Like if you want to go high, you can kind of easily jump back out. So this is good positioning to have, right? If you're forward holding, that's also kind of where your soldier can play, right? Because that's just good positioning to watch in general. Another thing you can just do is rot left, jump the roof, spam, chill, wait a bit, rotate, and then jump in. You can also, if they're constantly going under, or the spy's always crossing under, you can just go under for a bit in the beginning, try to catch the spy, then go back up. He's 200 HP, he's here, he can bomb. Medic's bottom left, bomb down, right? And your team pushes off of that. The main thing is he needs to not die straight away, because if you die straight away and you don't get anything for that, you're useless. Okay? The most important thing is that you call when you're bombing. It does not matter. You call when you're bombing like 2 seconds before you do it. Okay? That's all your soldier really needs to do. Because as long as he does that, your demo can do something with it. Right? The most important thing is your soldier is the big distraction or the playmaker for your team to get in. Even if he doesn't get anything, your demo should be allowed to go off of the distraction, right? And your spy should be allowed to go off the distraction. So the most important thing for soldier on this map, whether you bomb left side, whether you go under for a bit, is that you're ready to do that bomb, right? You're ready to do that at any time, right? You are close to health kit, so you are close to an arrow. You can always like go in within like the next 4 seconds, right? That's kind of on the mid fight most important, right?
Yeah.
You do not want to be sitting around for 8 seconds because your soldier took like 150 damage and he's sitting here waiting for a health kit, right? That slows your game down. Now that can happen, right? That can happen, and that's fine. But it's not what you should be playing for. Like your soldier should be trying to play in a way that he's at least around like 150 HP most of the time, so he can always bomb in, and he doesn't get insta killed when he does it.
Yeah.
Even if it's a pencil jump, even if it doesn't matter, it has to be like preferably obviously buff, but it doesn't really matter. 200 HP. The more important thing is that you do it together with your combo, right?
Yeah.
If you do not coordinate your soldier and your combo on this map, it's very difficult to win, right? Now, when you have the point, that's slightly different, right? Your soldier can be chasing people behind, he can be playing aggressive in the right side, like I said. That's fine, that's all fine and good as long as he doesn't feed too much. Because again, you need to be there for these aggro plays. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions about that?
No. Thanks.
Okay, so mid fight wise, yeah, I mean, DM fight, right? I'm not gonna get into it. It's every call. It's a point you fight over it. So, now, biggest mistake after mid fight, what is it? Let's say you
Not-
win. Because
Not
if you
holding on
lose,
point.
yeah, so if you win, it's hold aggressive. What a lot of teams do is they have an instinct to just walk here. Don't do that. If you win, unless you lose a couple players and they can re-push quickly, even then I would not do that. If you have enough people to cap the point, you usually have enough people to hold the point. Right? That's how simple it is. Right? If you don't, you should have delayed your cap so your spawners would have gotten in quicker. Right? That's kind of how simple it is. Right? You should not be capping if you cannot hold the point after. There's no reason. You might as well delay the cap and then cap like 2 seconds later so your spawners can get in. Right? You should be in a position where you can hold off these angles. Now, if you're not, then you play grab passive. That's the only reason to, is that you're now close to Uber. You want them to come in because you want to exchange into them, and then you want to fight after Uber with your spawners. That's the only reason you would give up points straight away, right? Preferably, if you cap points, you go into their shutter even, right? And you hold this angle with your sniper because it's broken. This is really fucking good. There's this angle as well, right? On the box, sniper can peek all the way at the health kit here. Right? These are really good angles, right? You can look super fucking deep. Okay? So basically your goal is your sniper can play the game. How do you make sure your sniper plays the game? By playing as aggressive as possible because then he has the most choices possible, which makes it really difficult for them to do anything. Right? It would also be really good for your sniper sometimes to go here, and now he has this angle, which is also nasty. Right? He can do that with a soldier, right? Something like that. Okay? And as demo, it's also good because if you see their medic beam close here, you can just scout demo Uber into them to die, right? Because if they're sitting around the corner here on the left, they're going to be forced to use or drop a bunch of players, or their medic dies. So all three of the scenarios are good for you. Now, if you do a shutter push into them, you do not want too many people in that, right? If there's already people going to shutter with the Uber, you do not want to send more that way. You want to flop more people on the left side, right, to sandwich them. You do not want to be sending. You do definitely want to still fight, but the goal is you do not want to have everyone fight in the combo, right? So pick your poison before you do the play. Like have 2 people, maximum 3 in an Uber. Depends on whether you have Uber out or not, right? But this is obvious stuff, right, guys? If you put 4 people in an Uber into their shutter, unless you have full Uber ad, that's the recipe for disaster, right?
Yeah.
If you have full Uber ad, well then you can do that, right? But like, think about it. What do you need to get the force early? That's what you put in, not more, not less. Okay? Because I saw you guys have a couple fuck ups with that, and then you didn't get the medic properly, right?
Yeah.
So, any questions about this? Right? Now, good positioning. If you're playing point, heavy on the head glitch, demo here, like in this corner heavy. Medic, you play around the corner. Why do you play the corner? Medic?
Why do you play the corner?
Why do you play the
Well,
corner? Yeah. Well, you just had a map talk. You tell me.
well,
If you play point, why do you play the corner?
I play the corner only when I can trust my team. That's basically what I
Yes,
understood.
that's true. But why would you want to play the corner
I
as
mean,
a medic?
safer from bombs.
Yes.
And I can
Why is it
retreat into
safer?
shutter.
Because yes, exactly. The reason is safer from bombs and the shutter escape. Shutter is the best escape route for the medic in most scenarios. But also, if I'm a soldier and I'm bombing into them and I don't know exactly where the medic is, and I bomb into here, well, the medic can now walk into point, and the Spyro can turn around and just keep them in this corner, right? Now, if they bomb point, right, like this, because they expect them to be at the corner, like if they bomb into point because they know they're close, well, now I can go this direction as well, or I can serve into shutter, right? So there's just more options if your medic plays corner. Now, where does your pyro want to be when you're holding that? Here, because he can watch the sky, he can spy check, and he's just roaming around this area. Right? Maybe into under a bit to catch a spy, or this area, maybe just into shutter, whatever. But here, he's close to the nice sacks. He has ammo kits, he has dispenser, you know, and he can watch over the medic. He can watch over his team, right? Now, scout or engineer plays the roof, all right? Preferably, I'd say scout, because your NG is also really good putting like a Rango mini on this side, right? Having a Rango mini from here is fucking broken a lot of the time. If you don't do that, you can put like on the roof, you can put like here, that's also fine. And then your engine can play on the roof, that's also fine. Depends on how you guys want to play, right? Depends what you're losing to. If you're losing a lot to bombs, you put your engine more there. If you just want to make sure they don't get pressure, you put your engine there and you let him fucking spy check this side and stuff like that, okay? Any questions about this, like, general setup?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so what I didn't name is where does your soldier play? Well, your soldier is kind of solo on the flank, eh? So your soldier should go where, well, the main thing what your soldier should do is again call where he's going, because maybe your scout can help you in right lobby and you can get some free kills and then you can back up, right? You need to just call it. You need to communicate, right? If your demo knows where you are, he can't be angry for like you feeding, because the demo could have called you back, you know. Well, he can still be angry, but like it's not just your fault anymore, right? The goal is you don't want to die, because what is very powerful is you can cross fire spam with a demo on this map. You kind of like usually the soldier is the first death because he's trying to like hold them aggressively, right? Which is valid, it's valid, but it needs to be done in a way that your demo can still have a decent after Uber, right? If you die early, then you wait a bit, then the Uber exchange, and then after the Uber you've already respawned, it doesn't really matter whether you died, right? But if you die right before a push, brother, you should have been playing more passive, okay? That's all I want to say about Soldier. It's again more important to fight with your team than fighting alone, right? Even though it can be really good to fight alone, right? If you can greed kills, do it. Yeah, I mean, for Ubers, right? There's 2 ways, right? Either aggressively into them, or you let them come to you, right? And you block the point. The most important thing is your Uber either make sure you block the point and you get space in the after Uber, or it makes it so you kill them before they even get close to point in Uber, right? There's no good other reason to Uber. If you get forced, you should have been out already, right? That's how simple that is. There's no reason to get forced, okay? Like if you allow them to force you, that means you didn't play aggressive enough, so they could get into position to set up a sack, right? If you uh, uh, get forced because you lose too many players, then you should have used earlier into them, or you should have waited a bit and then used later, right? That's the thing. You then play bad position. That you then backed out bad, right? Your Uber usage should be very straightforward. Okay, it's all about cap time at the end of the day, right? So do you care? You only want to use Uber to either keep the advantage, so you don't have to worry about them getting to point at all because you have the threat of Uber advantage, or you use to block the cap. And then when do you use to block the cap? You use when you need to buy time for your spawners to get into the after Uber. If you cannot get your spawners in the after Uber, what you then want to do is just sack everyone in except for your medic. Your medic runs alone to spawn with 90%, and then you fight next and you hope to kill their medic. So if you lose really heavily, the most important thing is that you make sure you equalize the advantage and you don't have to do sackways, right? So you should be thinking about the next fight, even if you're losing the current one. That's my biggest tip for Ashville, because the biggest like slow down thing on Ashville you're gonna have is that you're sitting there on full Uber dispatch on blue, and they're playing aggressive into you, and you have to waste so much time even getting close, let alone setting up a sack wave, right? Which gets me into the second biggest mistake that people make when on mid fight. So I now talked about the mistakes people make when you win a mid fight, but what about the mistakes people make when you lose a mid fight? Does anyone have an idea?
Can you say
What
it
are the
again?
biggest mistakes?
I didn't
Yeah,
hear
so
you.
I talked about like the scenarios if you win the mid fight, how you should be holding, whatnot, right? I told you the biggest mistakes people go passive instead of just playing point or going aggressive, right? But what is the biggest mistake people make when they lose a mid fight? You know? What's like a mistake people make? It has to do with how I told you should play if you win, right?
Maybe they regroup too aggressively.
Yes, they exactly that. They underestimate how aggressive the team that won the mid fight can be, right? They just walk into lobby and expect to group up on bats and buff there. That doesn't always work, right? You need to fucking sometimes just chill out a bit longer and have everyone take a full crit heal in the spawn before they roll out, right? You need to buff everyone up together. Because if you don't have buffs, you're running into a team that has the point that has full buffs because there was no one shooting at them, right? If you roll out and you don't get buffs for on multiple players at the same time, you cannot set up a good sack wave, you cannot set up a good push even if you get a kill, because their team will have higher heals than you. That's how simple that is, right? So regrouping cannot be underestimated. And the issue with Asheville specifically is that these lobbies have so many ways that you can just hold aggro. Like their combo could be sitting on your bats and they could just be fucking holding both this and this at the same time, right? Fucking obnoxiously shit to play against, right? If your team then goes to its far right, well then they can just do this, right? So there is so much fucking aggression that they can do onto you, like even over aggression to the point where you almost get spawn camped, right? If you then not take buffs properly and you try to roll out into that, you're just gonna lose, right? So if you notice that they are doing that, right, you instantly as a main caller need to recognize, hey, we're regrouping at spawn now. Now, if that doesn't happen, right, you can still regroup on badge, you can still regroup in lobby, that's fine, but then make sure people take buffs before they start peeking, right? They can still regroup. Like, regrouping more aggressive is more efficient, because your spawners can, like, get a bit more information, right? Before you actually fight. So that's better, right? It's better. That's true. But don't get desynced heals because of it, right? That's my main advice for attacking. If you don't desync your heals, it's much easier to push, right? It's very logical. If they have like an extra 400 HP, you need to do an extra 400 damage to win any fight or any sack you do, right? That's how simple that is. Now, if you have Uber this ad, you should sack. You should like literally put 7 men in that fight. You know, the only people that are going home are the fucking medic and whoever's building Uber with your medic, right? That's it. Any questions?
Yeah, you did. You briefly mentioned the like aggro hold inside lobby. Like, can you just
In
quickly
lobby
like
here.
say where everyone should be playing if we're doing
Here,
this.
on the, if you hold this aggressively.
Yeah.
Well, basically all your spam classes here, right? So they can spam this out. Your sniper here, 100%, right? Like peeking whatever. Your
Yeah.
heavy here, your pyro here, your scout here, literally everyone except for like maybe your NG. Like, well, everyone should be there except the engineer, because the engineer should be spy checking from point. Right? Your engineer should be playing around the point to spot, and you want one guy to also play, or at least watch this right lobby, so to make sure the engine doesn't get fucked for no reason, right? But like anyone else could just be aggressive. Like all 8 of you, like should just be aggressive. And then the main thing is your medic should not peek the sniper sideline, but that's obvious, right? Your medic could sit here.
Yeah.
Right, or your medic could sit here. But that is kind of obvious, right? If your medic can just sit here, or like he can sit here, right? That's
Yeah.
fine. But like
Okay.
everyone should be in except for the engineer, or your engineer needs to basically make sure there's no funny stabs happening. Right, your pyro, you're like all your heavy and pyro also do that. Like everyone should be aware that you're a bit risky of spies when you play that aggressively because you're not used to playing that aggressively. But that's just a matter of skill. You know, you just learn that.
Yeah.
Just don't die to spies. Like the worst thing you can do when playing aggressive is dying to spies, because it's super preventable, right? People just need to check their corners. You know. All right. Any question? Because honestly, I want to talk more, but I think there's no need. Ashville is the point. You fight over it, GG. Like it is not. There is less nuance to this map than you can think. I'll go over a bit with sniper, like repushes and stuff, a couple scenarios, but I don't have that much more for the generals of the map. Okay?
Yeah.
So any fun? So before I get into like a couple push things you can do, any questions? No? Okay, so with repushes, shutter or bats? Done. GG. Now, is that the simple answer? Yeah, it's the simple answer, but generally, yeah, that is true, right? You get a pick, you repush from shutter or bat. When do you repush from shutter? When you need to go fast, they're close, whatever. When you repush from bat, they're holding super close, you need to bully them out first, then you drop down, whatever. Right? You already did this. Right? You guys already did this. I saw you guys do this. Do I need to explain this? No. Don't take too much damage, let your demo do the work, let your sniper do the work, let your scout do the work, let your soldier do the work, let your spy do the work, done. You know, have your pyro be ready to take an Uber and your scout drops out. Preferably you do a scout demo Uber with a soldier bombing over the right side, like I said. It's not difficult, it's not rocket science. Like, hoppa. Doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
There's so many things you can do. Alright. Now, is that the simple answer? No. So, it is not that simple. So, usually when you're doing that heavy, you almost always kind of want to walk out of here, because it's nice for you, right? It frees up heals on your combo players, and it protects the sniper. Your sniper usually wants to be peeking from this shutter, because he has better sidelines from here than he has from top right. Right? So that is a thing. Playing snipe with your shutter, playing with your sniper and shutter is usually what you do. For that reason, you usually push out of here. Now, is it the best place for me to push from? No, that would be top right, but playing with your sniper is super valuable. You need to spy check and that kind of shit. Spies will be uncloaking there, he will be uncloaking here, he will be uncloaking here. So you just need to be aware of that, okay? Now, the other place your sniper really wants to play is here. So there is only one reason to go left side, and that is to put the heals on your sniper, right? You generally do not want to push from left side. Why do you generally not want to do that? Because
far
you're
away.
then pushing diagonally across the point. Diagonally is further than like vertically or like horizontally, however you want to call that. If you push this is a shorter distance than this, right? If you push from right, you only have this area to walk. If you push from shutter, it's a bit further, but it's also the same. But if you push from here, now you're... This takes ages, guys. This takes ages, okay? It's just much further. Like Soldier announces this a bit, but yeah. Now there is one reason to still do it though, and that is sniper. So if your sniper can do this, and you can kind of send your scout and soldier behind into the lobby to bully while you do that, that can work. Because your soldier and scout will start spamming them from the back, like even going to shutter and like get kills here and then spam like this. That can be really good, right? that can be really fucking good, especially if your sniper is here and he wins the SVS, and now once you win the SVS, this push is not as bad, right? Because now there's no fucking denial across it's just the demo and the bombs, right? That are hurtful for you. It's not also their fucking sniper that can insta kill. Now you can actually like swing out and start playing like normally, like from here, right? And then your sniper has now a lot of good angles to play, right? So that is one good reason. That's also Toxic is very fucking good because head glitches. Toxic is a great spot for your heavy and your sniper to play, or your demo when he needs to like try to stay alive because the medic can't heal him. Whatever. That's just great, right? So any questions about this? Because generally speaking, do not do this, but do it once or twice a game. You know, if you're struggling with the standard stuff, don't keep doing the same thing. Switch it up. Don't just go shutter every push. Don't just go top left any push. The trick is them also not knowing what you're gonna do, right? Sometimes that works better. If they are playing in a certain way, there's always gonna be a weakness somewhere. You know, that's the thing, right? Sometimes it feels like there's not. Okay, I'm kind of done with the Ashville side of things because there's not honestly not that much to say, right? Make sure your soldier, scout, and demo are coordinated. You will win most games, right? That's how simple that is. And if you're heavy and pyro, just need to walk in, play the cap, whatever, right? And maybe your pyro's in the Uber one time. If your heavy's in the Uber, it doesn't matter. Don't make sure it's clear who's in it. Make sure you don't have too many people. Make sure you press your advantage. Don't sit around and do nothing, right? It's not rocket science, right? This is not a rocket science map. It's a point, you fight over it, there's high grounds on both sides, there's good sniper sidelines, abuse them, done. Right?
Yeah.
But a general thing is, if you ever feel like there's a game where they're just predicting everything you're doing and they're just fucking dicking you, playing aggressively into you, you know what's going on? The spy is sitting in a corner calling everything. Okay? Big tip, kill the fucking spy and then roll out. Okay? If you do that, game becomes sometimes easier. When you ever get into a game like where you get rolled, they're just playing aggressive. It's 9 times out of 10 a spy just popping off, right? So be aware of that and don't fall for that bullshit. Spies are valuable as fuck. So I have not talked about spies too much. I mean, your main job, any cough map, call where they are, call what they're gonna do, right? And then try to make plays accordingly, right? Like if you have points, you don't have to make a play unless your demo wants you to make a play. But if you need to cap point, well, you need to make a play. You know, simple shit. Information first. Key picks at key timing second, and then quantity of picks third, and preferably all three, right? But that's not rocket science. Get a spy mentor, or I'll demo review you. That's fine. But like, I mean, the main thing is communicate, right? Communicate with your soldier. Communicate with your demo. Communicate with your scout. Communicate with whoever can fight with you. Don't be silent. Don't be a monk. Saying when there's no people is also good information, right? Let's say you're a spy and you're going into right lobby on the rollout and you see no one here. You see now they're all sitting bats. There's no one right side. They're all bats, right? That's an easy comp. They're all bats for each other. Done. Great com. Your entire team can now ignore this entire right side of the map. Your soldier can now know, hey, I can go into their lobby for free. I can get behind them. You know, great information. So call this shit. Calling when they're where they're not is sometimes more important than calling when they are. Okay, that's just my tip for Fly in general. Because if your demo here, hey, they're not right side, well, process of elimination, he's left side. You know? Wow, amazing. If your demo knows the left side, he can sticky trap. And he doesn't have to fucking sticky spam. He can just trap. He can just fuck him. You know? So, like, think about it, right? Think about what you com and when you com that. Right? Any questions in general? Any class I did not cover? This, well, engineer, you want anything? Because I think it's kind of straightforward, right? Make sure you build dispenser in a timely fashion, because your team is going to run out of ammo. Put it on the left side somewhere, or whatever. Tele usually here is best, because it's central. A lot of people run past it. It's hard for the spy to kill that way. They usually have to go to spawn. And minis on the right side, on the roof, on the bottom left. That's all fine. The bush spots. For the mini in the bush also thing. Yeah, also sticky traps on these boxes. Be aware of this. detonator than pyro when you roll out. Like if you're gonna push from right side and you're sitting on bats, just shoot a detonator here proactively. You don't have to do that. Also look behind here because spies like to sit here and just stab you when they drop down or like in dark. Be aware of this shit. This is obvious, guys. You've all played this map before, so like just be aware. These spy uncloaks are a thing. Spy underneath pass is a thing. Fucking engineers or heavies hiding here also happens all the time. People sitting in under happens all the time. Like just be aware. If that happens, um, don't take the fight alone. Take them with 2 people. Take them with 3 people. Um, if your demo says ignore them, you ignore them, right? But you do have to like you don't want to waste time on them, okay? So you either kill them together, or you don't fight them at all, and then you listen to your main calls, right? But don't try to be a hero and take a 1v1 when you're attacking the point, okay? There's no reason to, right? There's no reason to. Unless you're like, it's like an advantageous fight. If it's like a scout versus soldier, you hit a rocket on him straight away, well, duh, kill him, right? But think about what you're doing, right? You don't have to take a risk. Because taking a risk on attack is what you want to be doing together. And you don't want to do it solo, right? If you take a fight with a guy under together, that's much more likely to work than if you do it solo. So yes, take risk, try to find space, like your soldier, you're a playmaker, spy, you're a playmaker, scout, you can also be a playmaker sometimes. Do it, don't feed, right? Feeding slows you down, okay? Questions? I think that's kind of it.
One
nothing more to
thing
add.
we've noticed, I watched some demos of the enemy team. They had 5 mids, and 4 out of 5 times they just sent sniper completely alone bats, like on mids. They would just send the scouts to like go on their
Yeah,
bats
you can.
immediately and just rape the sniper.
If you know they do that, I would roll out my soldier and scout left side, and they just go immediately over roof, take their bat, kill the
Okay.
sniper. If you know there's only a sniper and an NG sitting there, you just send both your scout and soldier instantly into them with buff.
Okay.
Right? Because that's just free real estate. If they get 2 kills and now they can the people contesting them are here, that frees up 4 people, right? You're sending in 2 people for them to commit 4 people, right? So even if they don't win, you now have an opportunity as a combo to instantly push into them,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Like that's another way. Your soldier doesn't have to bomb them. That's the easiest way. You can also just force them to chase people behind, right? If they need to spend more than one person to chase, that's good enough, right? You now have a player advantage in any fight you take. Because if you bomb this bat and there's an engineer and a sniper there, that's kind of what you should assume. If you can kill them both, you usually can because it's just a fucking mini sentry, a shotgun, and a sniper. If you just make sure you rape these guys and not be shit, you know,
Yeah.
now they have to send a soldier and scout back to chase you, who might have been playing their right side or whatever, right? If however they have 4 people there, well then no. They are gonna try to pressure this roof then, and then you wait for that, then you kill them. Right?
Okay.
It's a tug of war, right? Then it would be better for your soldier to like bomb from the right side, because now they have 4 people there, which means they only have 5 people here maximum, which means this bomb is now easier, right?
Yep.
It's all about like where can your soldier get the most space or impact, right? And where can your scout do the same? Because that's what opens up a lot of these fights. Like your scout will clean up any damage. But yeah, if you're telling me that they only have an Indian sniper there, or just a sniper at all, fucking rush a scout or soldier into them, kill them, force them to look behind, and now you have a free push, right?
Okay. Okay.
Or your push is not free, at least you have a frag, right? And they will have to deal with you, or you're gonna get wrapped, right? Because they can just keep going, right? They can just keep going, keep going, keep going, and the moment you get contested, if they call that you're getting contested, you can push, right?
Mhm.
So then it's up to you as well to just like not get fucked as a demo, and be
Yeah.
ready for that. It's a timing thing, right? That's all timing thing. That's why it's so important to communicate. Like, communication is really key. Like you as a demo, most important for you is to know what your flank's doing, not how they're doing it. You don't care if they're winning or losing. You need to know what they're trying to do, right? Yeah, preferably you hope they win, right? And if they start doing a lot of feeding, well, then you care, but you should let them play the game as long as they communicate what they're doing, right?
Yep.
Unless you want something out of them as a main caller, but it's all separate, right? Like we know this. This is a general islander stuff. Yeah. Nothing else? Is that clear enough?
Yeah, yeah. Cleared it up.
Call outs? No.
No.
So,
Yeah.
one question for Soldier. I can basically like do my own thing, but I have to call it when I'm doing it, right?
Yes, you have to call it before you do it.
Yeah.
Okay? Because the most important thing for you is that if you're jumping over right roof, right, into their combo on the mid fight or whatever, you need to call before you do that. So your demo can actually walk in off of you bombing and your spy can uncloak off of you bombing. Because otherwise you're just solo feeding a guy that if their heavy shoots you out of the sky and you get insta denied, they do not have one set, like they need to be peaking with that, right? Because that 1 second that you're dying to the heavy is that also a second that they're not shooting the demo, right? Which means your demo can peak, right? It's shit like this you need to be very aware of. As long as you do that properly and you communicate what you're gonna do with your demo specifically, but also your spy can play off of that as well, then it doesn't matter. Like what is more important for you is to be alive to coordinate a play with your team, rather than like killing everyone. Okay, you'll kill everyone automatically if you do that, right? Because maybe your demo went a bit faster than you and he's a distracted, now you get the kills. That's also fine, right? If you can do a nuke, you can do a nuke. Doesn't matter. The point is that your team knows what you're doing. If your team has no idea what you're doing, it doesn't matter how good you're playing, right? Your team can never play off of it, right? That's very important on this map. Soldiers is too important for that on this map. Like, if on a mid fight you decide you want to get a free spy frag and under, you can do that, but you need to call that, right? And you need to still be ready. Let's say your sniper gets a pick, you still need to be ready to distract with a bomb, right? You need to keep your heals high enough for that, right? But as long as you do those things, it doesn't matter what you do. You can feed all you want, you know?
Okay.
Like, and then you'll see what works and doesn't by scrimming, right? The more important thing is that you are ready for your main caller to say, hey, we're pushing, and I'm ready to push with them, right? Or to distract, or to do whatever, right? And if you're not, and if that's not happening, then you're saying, oh, I'm gonna bomb, right? And I'm gonna do that in a couple seconds. And you make the play, and you initiate the fight, and you make sure your demo is off of you. And then the only thing you're listening for from your demo man is whether wait 2 seconds, and then you wait 2 seconds, and you still do it, right? But then you initiate the fight. Like Soldier, you are the initiator of a lot of fights, right? Your demo's not gonna. You do not want your demo to ask you to bomb. You should be thinking, hey, maybe I can bomb here, right? Then you say, hey, I'm gonna bomb in 3 seconds, and then you bomb, right? That's how it should go, right?
Okay.
And then your spy also has time to play off of that. Or maybe you're like, hey, can we bomb? You ask your spy, can we bomb spy? And then like, yeah, I think you can. Well, then you go, right? It's shit like this, but then it's clear to your team what you're doing and what you're trying to do. Do you want to rush behind them, kill their flank? Like on a mid fight, you can also like let's say they're all coming on bats or stutter. No one goes this side. You can just jump behind, maybe flank behind, maybe sit here and do like a high bomb. That's also fine, but you need to call that again. You don't want you want your scout to know that he's not gonna have help, right? You want your enemy to know that he's not gonna have help, right? That's what it's about. You were here, right, when I talked about like let's say they only send 2 people top left, and you can just do that.
Yeah.
Talked about that. Yeah. So I mean that's just it. It doesn't matter how you distract them, right? Whether they're chasing behind you because you're wrapping behind them, or you're bombing into them, or as long as you do it together with your team, it doesn't matter, right? Now, the one thing I did say you weren't here for is that when you have the point, you can die. That's fine. But you cannot die when they're close to exchanging or close to the point. Okay? A soldier. You cannot die when they are close to the point. Right? Because your value is in after Ubers, when Uber exchanges are about to happen. They're not in the Uber itself, soldier.
Okay.
So if you're dead right before an Uber exchange, you can now not be in the after Uber. Now if you're dead way before an Uber exchange, and that's what allows them to get space, you're gonna spawn by the time the after Uber happens. So then it's still fine. Right? You get it? I don't want senseless feeding on defense. Right? I want to see tactful feeding on defense. If you're playing aggressive here, and your combo's playing against each other, and you're just holding out this or something, or you're playing aggressive on their bats, and then you die, that is fine. That's acceptable, because the exchange is now happening far away from the points. So even if you have to exchange straight away off of that, by the time that Uber exchange is over and they have push points, you will have respawned, right? Now, if you're dying on this right side because you're greedy as shit and you don't want to jump out, right? And you die and they're already like there, well, they're just gonna drop in Uber exchange, and by the time the Uber's over, you're not there, right? That's how you need to think about this. You'd rather be alive for the afterfight in that scenario, right? Now, you still want to play greedy. You want to forward hold. You're a soldier, for fuck's sake. You have high damage output, right? You don't want to fucking be a pussy either. So yes, aggression, but like don't feed at timings that you know they're gonna just push off of straight away, right? Like if
Okay.
you give up space, you die for that. That's fine. But don't die for like the sake of having a play, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. Like there must be some value to your death when you're defending.
We have connect, by
Like,
the way.
and it could, yeah. All right. Nothing else? Anything else? Anything not clear? Anything? No.
Should
Alright.
I think. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think you guys already knew how to play. And I mean, I looked at if the skill level you're playing is the same as the scrim we had when I merc for. Honestly, as long as your demo and soldier coordinate and your sniper gets the base, you will win, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Because you guys just have you just have physically higher DPM, and DPM does everything in the lowest diffs. So it does not matter if you play shit with like 1 or 2 players, as long as your demo and sniper farm or soldier farms, it doesn't matter, right? Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah. Alright, alright. I need to find a sniper merc now. Alright. Where's Redlegs? When I want him.
Or have function as your merc.